Welcome to Between the Lines, a podcast on Jane Eyre,
where we dive deeper into the novel of Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I'm Giada.
I'm Gemma.
I'm Autumn.
I'm Alyssa.
I'm Maddie.
I'm Abby.
This episode is going to be about supportive characters within the novel of Jane Eyre and how they further affect Jane.
I'm Giada, and when I think of supporting characters, the first thing that comes to my mind is Bessie. And Bessie was a huge impact on Jane's life, especially in her early years of life, when she almost had no one. And a quote that I think really resembles this is page 32 on chapter 4. It says, "I dared to put my arm around her neck when she was tucking me into bed again, and she suffered it, even smiled." And regardless of her working for the Reeds and supposed to act as an authoritative person to her, she constantly comforts Jane, singing to her and telling her stories before bed. These moments were vital for Jane to have her childhood development and nurturing, which she really didn't have anyone else. So even though these moments aren't much, they still were very important to her. This also made Jane's imagination grow because of these nighttime stories, and they gave her a temporary escape from her life at Gateshead. It also shows her love for books and why she loves reading so much. And Bessie always provided gentleness to Jane, and an example is when Mr. Lloyd says she should be sent away to school. Bessie explains what would happen and the details of it when no one else is really helping her. And she also visits Jane when she's at Lowood. And the way I saw it is that Bessie overall shows Jane a comfort and gentleness she's never received before.
Well, I do agree. Bessie had her moments of kindness. I feel like she took her authority really far on a lot of occasions, as when Jane was finally complaining and saying that, well, what would Uncle John, the person who made them take care of her in the first place, say up in heaven if he saw how you all wished me dead? She boxed her ears. And on page 30, she says, Miss Reed soon rallied her spirits and shook me most soundly as she boxed both my ears and then left me without a word. Bessie supplied the hiatus by a homily of an hour's length in which she proved beyond a doubt that I was the most wicked and abandoned child ever reared under a roof. And that does shape Jane, because after that she says, I half believed her, for I indeed felt only bad feelings surging in my breast. So while she did have her good moments, where like she sang to her, told her stories before bed, was kind, I feel like she was also really rude to her, and maybe took her authority a step too far.
Okay, I do see what you're saying, Maddie, but how I took it is that Bessie, that was her job. It was her job by the Reeds to punish and be an authoritative figure for Jane. But I feel like she took that job because she had to, but she also wanted to give Jane something like comforting to hold on to, so she comforted her and sang her songs and read her stories before bed to give her a little ounce of comfort to like cling on to.
And whether that is considered like too much, I think it's almost not okay, but it's like what she had to do, and compared to all the other nurturing she got, that was the most.
Yeah.
So I think Bessie overall would be a supporting character, but mostly just for her childhood and having somebody to lean on.
I agree.
Yeah, because that was the only little like sliver of comfort she ever got in her childhood.
I mean, I guess I can see that, as she does become nicer to her later on in the story, like when she visits her and stuff.
Oh yeah, I love that scene when they like reunite.
I know, and then
It
she,
was
like,
so cute.
But like when they reunite, she like Bessie tries to explain like everything that's happening back at home and saying like she's kind of still not welcome there, so don't come back. So like that also shows how like she was still there for her, being like trying to tell her the honesty of like opinion, and saying that that John Reed was like spiraling and going like kind of crazy, and like that she shouldn't come back and she's better at Lowood.
I also have another thing. So we don't really see how Bessie is treated, so she could be forced to be doing these things to Jane. She could be forced to like punish Jane and do all these things by the aunt, and so like we don't really know what's going on behind closed doors.
And I would really like want to see like a couple chapters from Bessie's perspective.
Yeah, I would love that.
Because then we could see like how she was treated. Because if Jane was treated so bad, I wonder how like staff was treated.
Yeah, she could be like a hostage.
Yeah, like she low-key could just be like stolen.
Yeah, we don't know like what it actually is. So
Yeah.
that's why I think Bessie is like does a good job at supporting Jane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So if we're going to go that route, I feel like maybe she could be taking her anger and frustrations from her employer out on Jane.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but I also can't see Bessie being the one to just take her anger out on people just because, like, someone got mad at her and then she just takes it out on Jane. I feel like it kind of would be more realistic in the book if her, like, Aunt Reed, Miss Reed, or any of the Reeds were, like, forcing Bessie to act this way towards Jane and punishing Jane and doing all these terrible things to her.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree with that.
I also feel that it could be kind of bipolar for Bessie to just switch from a kind and nurturing, I guess you could say like motherly figure to Jane to being crazy and abusive to her.
To kind of end off with the Bessie conversation, I have another quote, and I can't find the page, but I wrote it down. And it says, "She kissed me and said I was a good girl and that she liked me better than anyone in the house, except Master John." Well, okay. Well,
Why are we doing this master
I
thing
know.
again?
yeah, like, it's a good girl. Like, I can't do this, bro. Like, are you serious? But I think this is super significant because Jane doesn't have much confidence or self-worth.
Self-assurance.
Yes.
Yeah, self-assurance, kind of. And Bessie saying that she was one of her favorites in the house definitely probably made her feel better about herself.
Yeah, like boost her confidence.
Yeah, and like a sense of validation.
Yeah.
And that she was important to her.
Yeah, I definitely agree with
And
that.
she's not like a waste of space like how everyone else treats her.
Yeah.
And like since that's the end of almost her chapter with Bessie, that kind of sets her off on a better note for when she's leaving Gateshead.
Geisha.
Gateshead? How do you say that? Whatever. Gateshead to Lowood, and kind of ends her chapter with that, but sets her off.
So long after Jane's chapter with Bessie, she gets in a relationship with Mr. Rochester, and when she's about to marry him, she discovers that he has a secret wife, and Mrs. Mason, who's the secret wife, is more a destructive character if you only look at the surface. And I think that she is destructive because she alters the relationship between Jane and Mr. Rochester. And Jane discovering Mrs. Mason leads her relationship with Mr. Rochester to almost immediately turn negative and causes Jane to feel betrayed and tries to leave Mr. Rochester and forget about their past together. And it also changes Mr. Rochester to become desperate and showing more yearning for Jane, as he might lose her. So, a quote that I'm going to talk about shows Jane's spiral into like a depression after finding out the news of Mr. Rochester basically cheating on her. So on page 377, chapter 26, Jane says, "The waters came into my soul, I sank in deep mire. I feel no standing, I came into deep waters, the floods overflow me." However, I also think that Mrs. Mason could be a supportive character towards Jane Eyre because she enlightens Jane on Mr. Rochester and shows how he has many mistresses and allows Jane to find a better future for herself.
Yeah.
Yes, I can see that. So, like, at face value, what's her name? Miss Mason?
Mason, yeah.
Mason. She wouldn't be a supporting character, but she pushes Jane to stand by her morals and fuels her to go find her true self. So I do feel like she could be a supporting character.
She'd just be like a
Yeah.
smaller one.
Yeah.
In an odd way.
Yeah.
Yes.
And sometimes like bad criticism is still like constructive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's, yeah.
For our brain break, we are bringing in a special guest on specific crazy situations in the book of Jane Eyre. Our special guest is Jordan Mendez from a similar podcast about the novel Fahrenheit 451, so go check them out on YouTube.
My name is Jordan Mendez, and yeah, I'm gonna just answer these questions.
Okay, for our first situation, how do you feel about a 19-year-old girl who's gonna marry a 40-year-old man when their wedding gets interrupted because the man is already married to an insane girl locked in a room in his mansion?
Yeah, that man needs to be locked up for life. Get him gone. Get him booked. No, he's gone forever. Like, you're locking your own wife. Why would you marry someone that you don't like? Just to lock him in a basement?
It was a political marriage and they didn't realize she was crazy.
There's a thing called a divorce, you know? You know what that is? Yeah.
Did they have that back then? They probably did.
No, they did.
Probably a
If
thing,
you
it's
had
not
a
common.
divorce-
It was really religious though.
No, if you had a divorce and you were a woman, then you didn't get back anything. You were just left there, and the man got everything.
Did they? Well, okay, so 19.
Mm-hmm.
How? Why?
She's
That's a good
basically
question.
like a nanny to his supposed daughter. He doesn't know if it's true or not.
He's a daughter, and how did the daughter feel about this? Her.
So he tried to find love by having multiple mistresses and different lovers.
He threw parties to find.
So he's.
Oh yeah,
he
he threw parties to find a new wife too.
Why? Just divorce her.
No one
And
knows
just
she's
like-
married.
Wasn't his
Basically
hand
no
cut
one-
off too, or something?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, even his hand was cut off, but he's still back.
And he was blind.
And he's blind. Well, he becomes blind.
Yeah.
How is he doing all this?
She has daddy issues.
That's yeah.
She has mom.
parents are dead.
She has
Everything
issues,
issues, bro.
Okay, well that's pretty bad. That's not that good.
The man is speechless.
How do you feel about a girl getting trapped in a purely red room where her uncle died as a punishment for defending herself against her cousin?
Bro, that okay. It's just fully red, nothing else.
Yes.
Not only that, they didn't feed her at all.
They didn't feed her?
That's how she's alive.
It was a night.
It was one night, but
It was not fully red.
How? Okay. Wait. If she's in a room for one day, is he gonna let her out?
They let her out eventually.
Who's he?
Then, or the dude, the blind,
Rate it.
blind dude.
well,
No.
Rate it.
The
0 out of 10.
The main
Get
character.
him gone.
No,
The main character is like a kid.
I've said this once and I say it again. Get that man in jail.
No,
Get her
no,
out.
it was her aunt.
Her aunt locked her in the room.
Yeah.
Get her gone too.
Yeah, that's where her husband died, by the way.
Her husband. I thought her husband was a blind man who
No, that's where the aunt's husband.
Yeah.
Her uncle.
Then who's the dude missing a
That
That's
was
her
later in the
lover
story.
later
in
She's
the
like
book. Okay.
she's 9 or 10.
Yeah.
she's younger.
When
at
the
this
time
time?
was
At this time,
Yeah.
how old
Yeah.
is she?
At-
10?
She's under 10.
When she gets locked in the red room.
yeah. And she's starved and sees visions of her uncle and hears voices and stuff.
She bangs desperately wanting to escape, but they say they don't want to put her out.
Bro.
Okay, I don't think that's very healthy. Really? Personally. I don't think I would recommend it to no one, but how do you why? What did she possibly do? What did she do? to
She
get
threw a book at her cousin because he.
Because she finally
valid. She threw a
stood
book.
up for herself.
Yeah,
No,
he
he
uses
was
her.
Yeah, he's mentally and physically abusive.
Then CPS.
They didn't have that. that time.
1900s.
Then just leave. Just run.
She's less than 10 years old.
So,
How would she do anything?
anything but that. But on the other side of things, the red room's that's how big was the red room?
It was I'd imagine it would be a master bedroom because it was
She talked about a double bed.
yeah, and he was the head for a while.
So she knew her uncle died in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she kept seeing visions of him.
How? So she's mentally ill now.
Yeah.
basically-
It's
Child
psychological
emotional
torture,
damage.
basically.
Oh, that's a Chinese torture method, dude. That's what they used back in the revolutionary times. That'll mess someone up for life.
So another character that I found that was supportive was Mrs. Fairfax. who is kind of a semi-supporting character for Jane, because towards the middle of the story, Jane travels to Thornfield and is introduced to Mrs. Fairfax, who's the housekeeper of Thornfield. And she's supportive towards Jane because she shows Jane her way around Thornfield and allows her to feel more comfortable and kind of changes her into a more open character.
Yeah, I agree. Like, she wasn't a super impactful character for Jane, but she definitely helped her feel more comfortable in a place that she doesn't know. When her whole life she's been like moving from places that she doesn't know, and to have someone there to like kind of guide her or like help her know where everything is definitely supported her.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm Abby, and the first character that I have that I think is a really good supportive character towards Jane Eyre is Adele Varens. And towards the middle of the novel, we're introduced to a young girl named Adele, and she is, Jane is required to educate Adele. And I think that Adele is extremely important as a supportive character because she affects Jane's overall development by kind of giving her a maternal and caregiving instinct towards Adele because she's younger and Jane is in charge of basically taking care of her and educating her to further grow. And Adele also supports Jane's relationship with Mr. Rochester because she brings them closer together because of Adele's tie to Mr. Rochester, because Adele's mother was one of Mr. Rochester's mistresses, so that kind of links them together and further grows their relationship. And Adele also allows Jane's position as governess to be less uptight and strict, as she has the freedom to teach Adele however she wants to. And a quote that supports this is on page 124, chapter 11, where she says, "So much better, my position was all the freer."
Okay, I'm Autumn, and I have a connection to that. So, have you guys heard about the Punch Monkey on TikTok?
Yeah.
Or, like, any news stories?
Oh my gosh.
Well, basically, it's this monkey, and, like, his whole family hates him and, like, runs away whenever he comes, like, around. And, like, will hit him and stuff. And then he has this, like, stuffed animal little monkey that he, like, clings on to when, like, none of his family is supporting him. And I kind of took that as, like, Jane is Punch Monkey and, like, the real monkey. And then Adele is kind of, like, the supporting stuffed animal, like, the emotional support to get her through the day. Do you guys know what I'm saying?
I agree.
That monkey, it makes me so sad, and it connects to how... Okay, the monkey gets, like, dragged around by his family a lot, and I feel like that connects to how Jane gets dragged around by her family, like her aunt and her cousins. They, like, put her down constantly, and I feel like Adele was kind of that just support for her and to, like, just get her through everything she does on a daily basis.
Yeah, and I feel like Jane's, like, family, like, always almost, like, ran away from her. Like,
Yeah.
They didn't want to be around her and, like, constantly belittled her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which kind of suits the monkey.
And to add on to that, when they are around her, they bully her, like how he throws a book at her or something. I think that's what happened. And
No, she threw the book at John.
yeah, and even the aunt is abusive to her, and she finds her unwanted, so she abuses her. And the two daughters, they just don't like her. So I guess the thing is, just like the monkey, when they're around her, they abuse her.
And throughout the whole book, Adele provides Jane with maternal instinct, freedom in her work, and a close relationship with Mr. Rochester, which are all building blocks in her life.
Okay, moving on to characters at Lowood. So I want to talk about Miss Temple. She was the superintendent at Lowood, and she's a very contrasting character to Mr. Brocklehurst, who, like, abused the kids. And Miss Temple was like quietly rebellious by giving the girls like extra food and comfort, and specifically defends Jane against Mr. Brocklehurst when she needs it. And I feel like she's just a very supportive character to Jane and all the girls because of how they deal with all this abuse at Lowood, and Miss Temple shows up to give them a little bit extra comfort.
Yeah, and Miss Temple also is more of like also kind of like a mentor to the girls, and shows like Jane Eyre shows Jane how to like develop more of self-respect and confidence in herself, and encourages like her intelligence and Jane's moral strength. And a quote like that goes with that is, "I had imbibed from her something of her nature and much more of her habits, more harmonious thoughts." Another character in the Lowood School that Jane finds that helps her character development is Helen Burns, a girl that she really bonds with at the school. And Helen kind of shows Jane how to be more patient in life and teaches her more forgiveness and Christian resignation, yeah. And also helping Jane manage her emotions and her anger better in life. And going more on what like Christian resignation is, it's more of like submitting to God and wanting to follow more of his path and devoting a life to God and being like surrounding yourself with Christianity, which is what Helen Burns shows Jane in the book.
Helen also shows Jane inner strength and supports her journey to independence. And a quote I picked up for that is, she says, "It is weak and silly to say that you cannot bear what it is your fate to be required to bear." And that's on chapter 6. This quote just shows how Helen teaches Jane to like deal with what she's given. Like she can't really change what's given to her, so it teaches Jane how to just take it and bear that weight, and that grows her inner strength and like paves her journey to independence.
So I think Helen Burns was a really important aspect in Jane's life because she provided that safety and support in the toxic school environment. And because we really don't know what could have happened to Jane if she didn't have that support during school. And the support was also just as simple as entertainment, which really was allowing Jane to take her mind off things that were either stressing her out or, yeah. For example, when she was alone in the courtyard, and she provided, Helen really provided in the courtyard, for example, a friend to lean on.
Thanks for listening. On our next podcast, we'll be talking about weakness and vulnerability in Jane Eyre.
Yeah.